Hello and welcome today to a short video on your Alchemy Lab and why you should be using and abusing it for the purposes of churning Alkashads. Now, when Alchemy Lab was first released, it was utterly terrible. It cost a lot of resources, you spent a lot of time, and ultimately you had very little to gain from churning Alkashads there. So the initial iteration of Alchemy Lab required 5,000 Alkashads, where you would redeem that for either a 4-star ascension item guaranteed, or a choice of 3-star ascension item, or you had 2 choices of 50 emblems to choose from. So essentially you were trading roughly 1,000 Alkashads for 10 emblems, so 5,000 for 50. That was most of the time. After a lot of feedback, SG had upgraded the Alchemy Lab and also reduced the cost of your using of your Alchemy Lab. So now you would only need to churn 1,000 Alkashads for each activation, and you got 30 emblems guaranteed, 2 choices of them, or you got a 3-star and occasionally get a 4-star ascension item there. For me, it works out to be about 1 4-star ascension item every month, give or take. Right, so let's hop on to that. So the first thing you need to know is your Alchemy Lab has 10 levels, and you will want to get them upgraded to level 10 as soon as possible. The reason is because at level 10, it guarantees 3 actions, as it puts it. So what this means is that you can run 3 crafts at one time. You can see here I'm running 10A, 10B, as well as 9A, which is the most optimal if you were a pay-to-play player. And we will talk about why, even if you were free to play, you should also be running your Alchemy Lab, because it is free resources that you're otherwise leaving on the table. Now, the other benefit of using Alchemy Lab is that you have a very good free ham store. So prior to Alchemy Lab being released, players were using TC20 to store ham. Now you can store lots of ham in TC20. The only caveat there is that it is tied to recruits. So when you're trying to power level a hero very quickly and you're withdrawing lots and lots of ham, those recruits will sit there in your training camp, and you have to move them onto other places, such as using your hero academy to store iron instead. Otherwise you would not be able to withdraw any more ham, since the game would give a message of resources will be lost. However, when you store ham here using the level 9A, for example, it is tied to just your ingredients, and you're able to store large amounts. So here you can see I'm storing 627k ham per each time. Right, so you dump it in and it's stored, and when I want to withdraw it, the ham just comes back out very quickly. So anyway, let's talk about the Alkashad churning and which levels you should be running. So I've done a very quick spreadsheet here, which breaks down the amount of Alkashads you gain per day, because obviously some recipes run very quickly and you get them a small amount every hour, and some you have to wait a couple of days, or in the case of 10A and B, every week, for your large chunk of Alkashads to be given to you. On the left hand column is how much base Alkashads you get just by using the feature of that level, but you also have the option of boosting. So if you spend some gems, you can get extra shards based on boosting that recipe. So for example, if you were running level 1A or B, you would get an average of 48 Alkashads a day, but if you spend some gems to boost each time, you would get 72 Alkashads per day. So if you go through all the recipes, you will soon notice very quickly that the most effective levels are 10A and B to run, churning 150 per day if you don't boost, or 200 per day if you boost. But The only caveat to that is 10A and B are tied to requiring gems to use those levels. The most cost efficient level to use, whether you're pay to play or free to pay, otherwise is going to be 9A and B, where you get to churn 75 shards a day, boosted to 100. So, using those maths, if you were a free to play player, you would want to run 9A and 9B, which will give you 75 and 75 per day, and then you want to run 108A or B, which gives you 67.5. So that would churn you 1,522 shards per week, or approximately 3,000 in 2 weeks' time. So that means you get 3 rolls with your Alchemy Lab every 2 weeks. On the other hand, if you were a pay-to-play player and you don't mind spending gems, then you'll be wanting to run 10A and B boosted, so they give you 200 shards per day each, alongside either 9A or B, which will give you 100 shards boosted. So you're looking at 3,500 Alkashads per week, or 7,000 in 2 weeks. So that would be 7 rolls of emblems, battle items, or ascension items. So yes, irrespective of whether you are pay to play, free to play, or cheap to play, you should always be running your Alchemy Lab. Otherwise you would be leaving resources that is free and accessible to everyone on the table. So happy running your Alchemy Labs, keep churning the Alkashads, and hopefully you will be getting bonus draws like this D-Blade I got just yesterday. Good luck and goodbye.